Hello, and welcome to Life as It Is with me, Dora Middleton. In today's segment, I would like to talk about gun control. I would like to actually start off by saying this: guns aren't dangerous. The people handling the guns is what's dangerous, okay? They cannot, the guns can't shoot themselves. So if you have someone careless behind the trigger, that's when it becomes dangerous, okay? You make it that way, meaning anyone is being careless with firearms. Do I believe that firearms should be in a home? Yes, I believe so. I used to be set against it. I was. I was really set against having a firearm in my home. But then I'm a single mom, okay? And there's no man here, and I need to protect me and my family. Even though my kids are basically adults, I still have to protect my family. Am I careless with it? No. Is it locked up? Most definitely. Okay. Always out of reach from any and everyone. Okay. But, I believe that it's a person's right to have a firearm. But I also believe that they should do some kind of mental evaluation on some of these people. Because a lot of people do go purchase guns that have mental issues that basically proves that some of them should not have weapons in their possession. Okay? And when you sit and look at all the school shootings that they've had, how are these, I want to ask the question, how are these children getting hold of these guns? But they're getting hold of them because they're stealing them from their parents, or the parents are giving them to them, or they're buying them off the street. So either way, they can always get hold of weapons. Okay? And that's the sad thing. It's sad and dangerous thing, if you ask me. I believe that everyone should take lessons, go to the shooting range, know how to handle your gun, know how to use it the correct way. I go to the shooting range. I've taken my child, okay? But we are taught to do it the right way, okay? And my kid is taught not to touch mom's firearm, and it's always locked up. So she, and in the place that she can't even, she doesn't know where it's at, but it's always locked up. Two different types of locks. Okay. And with the situation that took place with this school, this latest shooting that we've had, and the parents saying that they got that gun for an underage child for Christmas, I think is sick. Okay, now I believe, I believe in you, allowing your kids to go to the shooting range with you. But to buy an underage person a weapon, no, that's ridiculous. That's bad parenting right there. Why would you do that? And this couple knew that their son was having problems in school. They knew he was researching bullets and doing everything that probably right there in front of their faces, and which they should have known what he was up to. You have good parents and you have very bad parents. And I believe they were very bad parents, because for them to say, okay, don't get caught doing this. You could do it, but I'm not mad at you, but don't get caught doing it. Or then you text your son, no, don't do it. Did you know that your son was going to do it for you to go shoot up a school? Did you know this? Because for you to text him and say, no, don't do it, you knew something. It's just sad that these people lost their lives, and then his life is basically, gone, because he's probably going to be in jail for, I can't say for the rest of his life because I don't know, but for a pretty good amount of time. He might, I might say might be locked up, because let's be honest here. Who knows? You never know how the cards are going to fall. I'm just saying it could be a long time because they've decided to charge him as an adult. So I don't know. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. All I have to say is that the parents should have done better. So I'm not against allowing your child, if they are of the right age, to go to the shooting range with you and take lessons. I'm for that. Am I for you buying your underage kid a gun, or letting your underage kid handle a gun, like, without you being right there with them in front of someone skilled that can teach you? No, I'm not for that at all. I believe that it should be a little bit harder for some people to get weapons, because, again, we are dealing in a society where mental illness is not being addressed the way that it should. I can say that because I knew someone that worked at a jail. And when they closed down some of the facilities for the mentally ill, they threw these people in jail with hardened criminals. Okay, you put these people in jail with criminals, and they shouldn't have been there, but that's what they do. They didn't want to spend the money to keep the facilities open, so they just started closing them and throwing these people in jail. That's not right by any means, and it was totally wrong. And when I was being told that, I'm like, oh God. So you put these people in there with criminals that's in jail for killing 2-3 people, but that's where they put people when they shut down these facilities, or they just stick them on the street, and then they become homeless. And then some of them may become aggressive, but you can't fault them. You can only fault our lawmakers and everyone that's in charge of giving funds to fund certain situations, because they're not doing their jobs. Okay. They're not doing their jobs. There should never be a time when a person cannot go to a facility if they're having mental problems. And another thing is, you put them in these facilities, and they don't get to the root of the problem. They pump them full of medication, pills. Then you have them like they're in a zombie state. I don't agree with that either. You have to get to the problem. I know some people have different types of illnesses, and they might need to be more sedated than others. But I don't think that pumping them full of a lot of meds is the way to do it. And I can honestly say, in my younger days, in my early 20s, when I worked in a place like that, they literally was making these people into zombies. They were giving them so much medicine. And I'm like, wow, okay. It was sad. And that's when I knew that's just something I could not do. Work in a facility like that for a very long time, because I didn't like seeing that. I didn't like seeing people mistreated. I didn't like seeing people drugged up because someone decided they weren't worth fixing or taking care of. I had a problem with that. So I got out of that field. That's why I studied psychology and some law, because I knew I wanted to help people, but I knew that that's something that I did not want to do, that portion of it. I couldn't be somewhere where I had to watch people be treated like that, be drugged up to where they don't even know where they're at. All they can do is stay in their beds 24 hours a day. I couldn't do that, and at that point in time, I was in my 20s. I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't. But back to the situation with guns. Guns are on the street. Drugs are on the street. These people are putting all of these dangerous things on the street. And then you have a lot of people that's in law that's supposed to keep everybody safe, that's also dealing in drugs and guns and working with the drug people. instead of being what they should be, and that's should be doing, and that's protecting and serving all of us. So basically, this segment, I just wanted to touch base on a question I had, and that's how young is too young to allow a child to handle a gun. And I think the way I see it, I think maybe if you're 14 years old, 15, and if you're going to the shooting range with your parents, and they're not letting you do it as just a way to get, I guess I'm a little bit tongue-tied because I don't know what the intentions of these parents were with this child that was just arrested for shooting at school. These children at the school, I don't know what their intentions were. Did they know their son was going to do that? I don't know. I don't think any of us would really know. Even if they did, they're not going to go and tell the police, well, we told them to go do it. They're not going to do that. So none of us that's outside looking in to this situation will ever know what was really going through that child's mind and his parents' mind. No one would ever know. We would never know. But again, I think we need to teach our children, if we decide to take them to shooting ranges when they're of age and they can go, I think that we should teach them safety. Do not touch this. This is not something that you can touch. You're not old enough to handle this. And until you're at the proper age to handle, it's off limits. No matter what, it's off limits. But I believe in, you can teach your children how to navigate around it. So when they are of age, they will know they have to be careful. You have to do this way or that way. They will be taught well. I can remember when I was looking for a gun to purchase, the guy at the store told me he got his first shotgun from his grandfather at the age of 8. I said, at the age of what? And here I was in my 30s. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm in my 30s, and it's the first time I had ever touched a gun. And I'm like, at the age of 8, I wouldn't have been comfortable with that at all. I wouldn't have been comfortable letting my children touch a gun at 8. But, people parent different ways. Some good, some bad. But I just don't believe that any 8-year-old should be handling a gun under any circumstances. But again, some people just don't care. I care about my family. I care about my children, my grandchildren, my family. I care about them enough to know that I'm not going to put a deadly weapon in their hand like that and be okay with them handling it just like it's a toy. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. But I do stand by grown-ups of age, like myself, having a gun in the home for protection reasons, because people are breaking into your homes and they're killing people in broad daylight. In daylight. It used to be where the crooks were hiding. They'll come in when you're not there, or they even might come in when you're sleeping. But while you're awake, they come in and take your shit. Now, I have a problem with that. And I was beginning to get very nervous. Even though I live in a nice suburban area, I was still nervous at the fact that here I am, the single female. I wanted to protect myself. And that's why I decided to get a gun, because I wanted to protect myself. I didn't want to be caught in a situation to where I could not protect myself. But then I cringe every time I'm watching the news and you see these people don't. Here's the thing. When it comes to guns, people don't think about how to de-escalate the problem. I was just watching something on the news where you had these two parents fighting over their child. The man wanted his son. He had a court order to get his son for his time. she wouldn't, his ex-wife or child's mother would not give him the child. So here comes the new boyfriend, the new man in this woman's life, and he wants to get up in the man's face and argue with him. This is where I have to draw the line. And I know a lot of people may not agree with what I'm about to say, but if you're not the biological parent of this child and you have not adopted this child when you've gotten into this marriage or this relationship with this person, then stay the hell out of it. Because when you have your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fiance or whoever it might be, even your wife, when you have someone in the situation and it's not even their child, it really makes the situation a little bit worse. Okay? I think that man's life would not have been taken, number one, if the damn woman would have just followed the law and given her child's father the son the way she was supposed to. He had the right to have him. But because she didn't want to follow the rules, her boyfriend was feeling himself and went and was arguing with this man over his son. He turned around and he went in the house and he came back out with a gun. If you ask me, and I know people may not agree with what I'm about to say, he went in the house and instead of staying in the home, instead of staying inside and just calling 911 and saying, hey, my girlfriend is arguing with her child's father. Could you come? It's getting out of hand. They're in each other's faces. Instead of this grown ass man handling it the right way, he went in the house and he came back with a shotgun. To me, that's like premeditated. You went in the house where you were safe enough to call 911, call the cops and tell them the situation. But instead of you doing that, you bring your ignorant ass back out the house with a shotgun and you shoot this man 2 or 3 times and you kill him. And to hear them say, well, no charges have been brought down on anyone yet. Oh, I think it should be. Because you went in the house, you left the argument, and you came back outside with a weapon. Your life wasn't in danger. You know why your life wasn't in danger? Because you took your ass in the house where you could have locked the door. You could have called 911. But instead, you went in the house and got a gun, came back out and murdered someone. Because that's what it was. He murdered this man. Had he just stayed in the house and called 911, this child would still have a father. And this is why I'm going to say this. Women and men, both sides, be careful who you have kids with. Because when you have kids with the wrong person, this is the shit that happens, okay? People break up every day. Yes, they do. But you have to learn to co-parent. There's absolutely no reason for you not to know how to co-parent. There should never be a reason for anyone to be arguing in the front yard like that when this man obviously had a court order to get his son, as he stated, at 3:15. But because you feel you didn't want to give him up, I want him here, she says. She said she wanted him there. She wanted to visit with him. But lady, you've had him. Where were you at before 3:15 rolled around? You had him there, so what were you doing? I think what she did was out of spite. I think that she put gasoline on the fire. I think that she's the really big reason why her ex is dead and her child is fatherless, because she did not abide by the law. Now, if I had my opinion, if I can give my opinion on the subject and tell this judge she don't deserve to have that child, she shouldn't even have the child. The child should be taken away from her because she just caused this man to lose his life, and her little boyfriend or whoever he was should be in prison for murder, first-degree murder. He went in the house and got a gun and came out. You were out of the situation. The problem that he was having with the man It was de-escalated the moment he turned around and walked in the house. The man didn't go in behind him. So why the hell did he come back out with a gun? See, that's what I'm talking about. That particular person right there, I will bet money if they gave him a mental evaluation, he had mental problems. Something in his head was not, it wasn't screwed in right. He had some loose screws. Because anytime you come back out to get in the situation, he came out to kill this man. Anytime you're going to pull a gun on someone, you're aiming to kill. You're not pulling it out just for the hell of it. So come on, people, do better. Do better. I think that they need harsher penalties for people like him. And I think that they should do mental evaluations for people like him and amongst other people that's done the same stupid shit. Okay? I think that people glorify weapons. I think that people that's running around collecting a bunch of weapons to look like they're at war with someone and just to have rooms of weapons, I think that those people, it's something going on that you don't know about, because there's no way that you should want to be surrounded by that type of ammunition. You shouldn't have 10, 15, 20, 30 guns, because I know people like that. And I'm like, why are you stockpiling on these guns here? Okay. I don't get it. But again, this goes back to what I'm saying when I said people have a sick fetish toward guns. They love them. And a person like me, I only got it and want to get it. I only got it because for protection. I don't play around with it. I don't brag about having it. Most people don't even know that I have one. And that's the way I like it, because you don't want people to know what you have in your home. Okay? But I actually only said I had it because I wanted to make my point. And my point that I wanted to make is that we all need protection. I'm not going to ever say that people should have their guns taken, because I don't believe they should. I believe that some people need mental evaluations before they are given a gun. Okay? They need to go through serious mental evaluations, because a lot of people out there are struggling with mental illness and they're not getting the care, the medical care that they need. So they're going out there and they're purchasing these guns, and look at what's going on. It has to stop. Okay. It shouldn't feel like we're living in the middle of Babylon. It's like we're at war in our own country. This is crazy. People are road raging and they're getting out the car and they're just shooting each other. What kind of world are we living in today, people? Think about this. What is going on to where we have that much anger, to where we can't even have someone get over into the lane in front of you because you get so pissed that you're going to get back over and cut them off and then pull a gun on them and shoot and kill them because they got over. They didn't break any laws. They just got over in front of you, and you were having such a bad day that you felt you were going to get out your car with your gun and you were going to kill them. Do you know how many videos is floating around on social media with the same bullshit? Look at the situation where the teacher was road raging and she tried to hit someone on a motorcycle, is what they said. And instead of this man just, for one, he followed the lady home, him and some other witness. They followed her back to her house. Now, here's the problem. If they followed her back to the house and she went inside the house and she came back with a gun, he just shot her. The guy on the motorcycle shot and killed her in her own yard. Now, here's the problem I have. Why the hell? Okay, yes, she tried to run you down. She tried to hit you. But why didn't you just try to memorize her license plate? And even if you had followed her, you shouldn't have come on her street. You could have maybe parked around the corner and told the police, hey, this woman just tried to run me over with her car. I've maybe followed her home and I'm parked around the corner. I don't want to get too close to her home, but can you come here? Why didn't they do that? But no, instead, him and this other witness, that was a witness for the road rage that was going on, went to this woman's house. And when she went in her home and got her gun, he instantly pulled his gun out and he killed her, shot her to death. And she was 5 months pregnant. So now there's 2 lives that's gone. And people can't agree on if he was guilty or if he had the right to do that. And my opinion is never follow anyone home. That's my opinion. Number one, never follow anyone home. I understand she tried to run you over. That's when you should have pulled over and called the cops. And I just can't stand by the fact that he followed her home and then ended up killing her. Okay. And then also when she got home, she should have stayed in her home and not come out with the gun. Okay. So I think both of them was wrong. She should have stayed inside and called the cops. He shouldn't have followed her to her home. He should have parked somewhere and called the cops and told them what happened and what way she went. Or even if he did go to close enough to her house, he should have stayed maybe up the street where he was out of her sight and she didn't know he was there. But see, again, people don't care. They're not trying to de-escalate these situations. All they want to do is kill, kill, kill. I am so tired of turning on the television and they're telling you 20 people done died in one day because people don't have any patience. People don't know how to talk to each other. People don't know how to de-escalate situations. Everyone is just quick to pull a weapon. And that's why I say the weapons aren't the bad one. It's the damn people that's handling them. It's the people that's getting the guns. They're the bad ones. Okay. It's not the weapons. It's the people behind the weapons. It's the people that's holding the weapons that's the problem. I think that this is what's going on. No one talks about anything. No one talks about how to get out of the situation. How about just pull over and say, okay, if I cut you off, I apologize. I wasn't trying to run you down. Whatever the case it is. But people literally, I had a coworker come back to work from lunch shaking because she cut over in front of someone, used her signal, but because he got pissed at her cutting over in front of him, he lifts his gun up and points it at her in her car. So what was he going to do? Shoot through her window? See, that's the shit I'm talking about. She was shaking so bad. She was scared to death. And then she said she couldn't even drive. She had to go to the gas station and get herself together. And when she saw a car that looked like his pull up, she said she damn near wet her pants because she thought he was coming to kill her. Should anyone have to live like that? Should anyone have to go through that? No. All I'm asking, and I know no one can answer this question really, but why the hell is everyone so angry? It's like hell has broken out on earth. Everyone's angry. Everyone's quick to kill. Everyone's just, there's no patience. There's no peace in this world right now. We're living in such a time to where it's almost, you're afraid to walk out your door. And we shouldn't have to live like this. We shouldn't. You're afraid to get over because you're thinking in the back of your mind, okay, when I cut over in this other lane, am I going to piss someone off to where they may pull a gun on me or shoot through the car window? We should not have to feel that way because guns have been put in the wrong people's hands. Again, if anyone out there that's listening to this segment, write, do what you have to do to try to change these laws so that they will start doing mental evaluations on these people before they give them these guns. I mean, extensive evaluations, okay? I'm not talking about some short-term 1-hour thing here. No, they should have to go through a couple of weeks of evaluation before getting a gun. They should. I wouldn't have even mind if they were doing it because I know I'm fine. I'm I don't have any mental problems, but I'm not saying the next person don't have mental problems. I'm saying that they need to figure out a way to stop putting these weapons in the wrong hands, okay? Because that's what they're doing. They're putting them in the wrong hands. And and then I'm going to touch on something else. When the last time I went to the shooting range, I wanted to go to the store and get some bullets to take because, you can only have a certain type of bullets that you can shoot at the shooting range. They don't want to sell you any bullets. And where I live, they don't want to sell you bullets if you're black. Okay. We've been in places where they tell us they don't have bullets and they'll turn around and sell the bullets to someone that's Caucasian. We've seen it. It's happened right in front of us. And that's bullshit. But again, even race plays into these situations. You are okay letting Caucasian people stockpile on these bullets and weapons. But when a black person tries to buy a weapon for their safety or bullets, you won't allow it. You will say you can't sell it to them. You do everything you have to do, or they don't have anything. They don't have any bullets when you clearly see them there. But that's the world we're living in today. That needs to be stopped. It's just so much that's going on in this world that needs to be stopped. I mean, it's just pure hatred. Okay, you can be driving up the street and see nothing. If a person looks into your car, you can look right at them and see nothing but hatred in their faces. You don't even want to look in anyone's cars anymore because it may piss them off to the point they might try to harm you. So what are we to do? It's like we're living in Babylon right now. It's like nothing is safe anymore. Your sanity is gone. Everyone's on edge. No one can take a joke anymore. Everyone is angry, and the angriness is playing out with people killing each other. That's the way it's playing out. And it seems like no one gives a damn. No one's trying to figure out a way to stop it. I was listening to the news where they said, well, COVID has a lot of people upset and uptight. No, you can't blame that just on COVID. People were like that even before COVID. You just have a lot of people running around with all this pinned up energy and all this anger. People have anger issues from their childhood. They have anger issues from when they were in college and even as an adult. People have a lot of anger that they never got out, and they're letting it, they're unleashing it on people. And that's dangerous. So I guess, like I said, I just wanted to do this segment because I wanted people to think. Ask yourself this question. Do you think it's okay for 8 and 9-year-olds to handle guns? Do you think it's okay for you to buy guns for underage kids? I don't agree with either one of them. I don't think young children should handle guns like that. And I don't think that any parent or grandparent should ever buy their child or their grandchild a gun if they're not of legal age. I don't believe that. And I don't believe in that. And I believe that we need to get some laws here to where people have to go through extensive psychological tests before purchasing weapons so that we can keep the weapons out of the wrong hands. Okay, that is something that everyone needs to be talking to these politicians about. Okay, because as it seems right now, none of them are really too worried about shit that's going on where guns are concerned. Okay, so that's what we all need to do. We need to try to get some tougher laws out there to when it comes to buying these weapons. Try to get some type of evaluation done on some of these, on everyone. I think anyone that purchase a weapon should go through the same evaluation. But I can sit here and say, I don't think that's going to happen. They're not going to do that. But I think it's worth fighting for. It's not going to hurt to fight or, keep going, keep writing to just write to whomever you have to write about so that we can get the legislation, can change these laws. Because if we don't do something about this, it's only going to get worse. They're putting these guns in the wrong hands and they don't care because all they want is a sale. And then everyone's hollering about, it's our God-given right. Yes, it is your right. It's your right to have a gun if you're mentally able to have one. But if your mind is not right, you don't need one. And you're putting yourself in danger and everybody else of you hurting yourself or them too. So that's why I wanted to touch base on guns and gun control. I think that we have too many guns out there in the streets and they're with the wrong people. And that needs to change. So we need to do something about that. We all need to come together and try to get these laws changed and do something before it's like the wild, wild west. Okay, we're all going to be out here trying to protect ourselves in any and every way possible. And that's not good. We have children in this world that need their parents. Okay, and it's like people, again, there was a situation in Texas where two women were arguing. They were arguing while driving, putting their fingers up at each other. And one woman got out of the car and they both had kids in the van. This was in Texas. They both had kids and they were both in minivans. One person got out, walked toward the other person's van, and she shot her to death. Okay? Now, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about right there. We need to do something, people. Okay? So if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I don't know what to tell you. I have my opinions, and I say the guns is not the bad person. It's the people that handle the guns. It's the owners. The guns can only do what you have them do. Okay? I think that it's too many people with mental issues getting a hold of these guns, and then you have these people with anger issues getting a hold of these guns. Okay? And we need to change that. They need to have it so you have to go through some type of psychological evaluations, and not just something really quick. I say several weeks worth of evaluation before you're allowed to buy a weapon. I think that's what that's what needs to be done. Okay, but that's my opinion. Everyone on here listening to my segments, everyone's over 18. Well, some people aren't, but I don't say anything that children can't hear, so listening to my segments, I don't say anything that would harm anyone's children. I'm really good about keeping my segments kid friendly. Okay. I may use some curse words here or there, but it's still kid friendly. And I believe that we have got to do better with locking up the weapons. Please, people, get a lock box. I have a lock on mine. I lock it through the trigger, and I also lock the box itself. We have got to do better with these guns. Stop allowing your kids to get a hold of these guns, because we are tired of hearing about 2 and 3 year olds and shooting each other or the parents and shooting people in the home because these guns are laying around and not locked up. We have to do better, people. We really need to do better. We should never have to hear about stories like this. Okay? But anyway, again, I would like to thank you guys for listening to my segment. I hope that you really think about what I'm saying when I say that we need to get better laws when it comes to buying these weapons. But you all think about what I'm saying and understand that I'm not saying that people shouldn't have the right to bear arms and protect themselves. I'm saying that the wrong people are getting hold of these guns and we need to make a change. Okay? We need some kind of screening where you can get the people out that shouldn't be buying them. Because right now, anyone can go in there and buy a gun. Okay? Anyone with any kind of mental illness can go in there and buy these guns. You have a lot of people running around here that's angry, that just, it's just a lot of mental illness out there, people. And I'm not saying it's just people that's killing that has mental illness. You got a lot of people out there that's just damn evil. And it has nothing to do with that. They're just pure evil. Some people are just bad seeds, okay? Yes, and I'm going to say it. It's some people out there that is just a bad damn seed, okay? They've been bad, and they're going to continue to be that way. And you got those kind of people out there purchasing guns, okay? So like I said, we have to make a change, or we're all going to be in danger. Okay, I would like to thank you guys for listening to me go on and on about guns and safety. But please do listen to what I'm saying, though. All right. I would like to thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, thank you for listening to me, Dora Middleton, on Life as It Is. Take care.